I wanted to do a video about the Quakecon 2010 Grand Finals between Cooler and Cypher, because I think that's the best game of Quake Live, best tournament match that was ever played in Quake Live. A lot of people, they still remember also the other Quakecon finals. I don't remember the year, I think 2014 or 15, between Rafa and Evil, which people also often cite as one of the best finals ever, but I think this one takes the cake easily for me. It went all the way, 5 maps, and I just want to look at 2 games particularly. The final 2 maps. We can just have a quick recap of map 1 and 3, but the most interesting by far and the most dramatic are map 4 and 5. So let's dive a bit deeper into those maps. Let's have a look at them in full. But I thought maybe it's interesting first to give a little bit of backstory about the players, because we have here Cooler and Cypher. Of course, already they made a big name for themselves before this tournament. Cooler already won a lot of tournaments between like 2002 2005, something like that. Cypher is a bit younger. He came up during Quake 4. He never really competed for first place in Quake 4, but he was kind of getting his name out there. And then before Quake Live came out, they briefly switched back to Quake 3, and that's when Cypher started winning his first couple tourneys. As far as I know, he became the best player in Quake 3 at that time, and he pretty much managed to take over that title into Quake Live, although he sort of had to split it with Rafa, and it kind of remained like that for the rest of Quake Live. And Quake Live was the competitive scene was between 2008 and let's say like 2016 17. It basically stopped when Quake Champions got launched or went in beta, early access, whatever. But I would say the golden years were between 2008 and 2012. Now this tournament is right in the middle, 2010, and maybe the most active year in competitive Quake Live, because we had that year we had the first Intel Extreme Masters finals, and also like the European finals and the American finals. Maybe some of them took place in 2009, I don't remember, but the real final stage was in Germany, was in 2010, in March, I believe. And Cooler took second place there. Rafa won that tourney. Cypher had not such a good tournament, and then later that year we had DreamHack Summer. Cooler did not participate for whatever reason, and Cypher got second place. He lost to Avec, but basically that was 2 months prior to the QuakeCon that we're gonna look at, and so Cypher was in good shape, and Cooler, I'm sure he was also in great shape as far as I know, even though he did not participate in the DreamHack 2 months prior. He trained properly for this match, although there was one strange thing about his practice, which I'm gonna get into in just a little bit. But first, let's talk about a bit the strengths and the weaknesses of each player. Cooler here, he is most famous, I would say, for his dodging and his rockets. And of course, for his amazing control. Not really a player who would go very crazy. Style was not very crazy. It was like pretty solid. He was very big on control, and he was happy to just be one frag up, and as long as he stayed in control, he would be happy to just win the game with one frag deficit. Now Cypher was kind of more crazy, more of a clutch player. He was able to really show up in the most difficult situations. He would perform just better, and he would be able to do insane things like nobody else. Other than that, he was also, top level with his aim. Probably had a bit stronger aim than Cooler in terms of hit scan. They both had amazing rockets. Um, yeah, I would say those are like the biggest differences between them. Both top tier players. I mean, people would say Cooler was probably like top 3 in Quake Life around this time, and Cyber was either the first or the second. Um, about personalities of these players, I don't know them too well. I had the pleasure of meeting Cypher in 2012 at a LAN. He's a very nice guy as long as you're not beating him. And he beat me pretty hard, so he was very nice. And actually, I have no reason to believe otherwise that if he's losing, he's not a nice guy. Although maybe Evil would be able to tell you a bit about that. Nevertheless, yeah, Cypher's a cool guy. Cooler, also a cool guy, obviously. Never met him in real life, but one time I played a competitive match against him in Quick Life. It was after this tournament, and he won it. It was a bit closer than against Cypher, but he won, of course. But what I still remember is that after the match on IRC or Discord, I don't know, something like that, we spent like an hour talking about the match, and he gave me so much advice. Uh, as far as I knew, he was a busy guy at the time, and he really took the time to analyze and to just, you could feel that he knew I cared about the game, and he could feel I was passionate, and he was just so happy to help out. So I still remember that. So as far as I know, he's also a really cool guy. But the reason I'm mentioning this is that I heard when I met Cypher on LAN, Avec told me that they were not actually always the best friends, Cooler and Cypher. I think it's kind of like a clash of egos. Um, yeah, they just did not always get along. Um, Cooler being the old champion, Cypher the up and comer who tended to get the upper hand in their matchups. So I don't know exactly if they had beef or whatever, but yeah, that kind of adds to their rivalry. Like going into this match, yeah, I thought that was interesting to note. Um, yeah, so let's see. We pretty much covered everything about the players that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to prepare a screenshot of the map pool, but I forgot to do that. We had 5 maps in the pool this year. We had Arrowwalk, um, Furious Heights, Lost World. No, wait. Yes. Arrowwalk, Furious Heights, Lost World, Blood Run, and Battleforged, which was released like not too long before this tournament. So that was very strange that they put that in the pool. It was actually an older Quake 3 map, but as far as I know, almost nobody ever saw it before. And a lot of players decided not to bother practicing the map. They would just drop it because it was a 5 map pool, and every match until the grand finals was a best of 3. So every player could drop 1 map, and yeah, basically whoever dropped first would usually drop Battleforged. Um, it would become a big problem when you would reach the finals and you did not know the map, because in a best of 5 you have to play all the maps. You do not get to drop any maps if you have a 5 map pool. So yeah, that became a little thingy because Cooler did not practice Battleforged, and we're gonna see what happened on that map. Um, but also in the other matchups, like let me pull up the brackets real quick. Just want to have a look at the brackets. Um, Imagine you're playing a best of 3 uh, earlier on in the tournament, and let's say you're Cooler and you did not practice the map. Like here, you already went down to Sparty, let's say you think your opponent did practice, he prepared that map, Battleforge, and you did not. So you have to spend your only map drop on removing that map that you didn't play, which means you don't get to use that drop to remove your opponent's strongest map. Like maybe Sparty was fucking sick on Arrowwalk at the time, so you cannot drop that. You have to play it because you already spent your only drop on the map that you did not practice. So very risky strategy, not practicing a map out of the map pool. So yeah, like Cooler, he just went down on already on this second game in the tournament. He went down to the lower bracket. Sparty took him down. Damn, we're gonna have a look later in a bit about his lower bracket route. Um, but first, let's see here. How did Cypher get to the grand finals? Because he did not drop a match. He went straight from the upper bracket. So let's go backwards here. To get to the grand finals, he beat Sturmy in the upper winner final. 2-1. Sturmy was on fucking fire this tournament because look here. He beat Rafa 2-0. He beat the Hang 2-0. So he just fucking plowed through the North Americans. And then Cypher managed to kick him down to the lower bracket winners final, or lower bracket final, and Cooler barely took it. It seems, and Cooler, like we said earlier, he so quickly he went to that lower bracket, so he was in a must-win situation for so many games. Like for 4 games, he had to win everything. He was on his last life, strengths 2-1. He beat Rafa, 2-0. Sparty, who was also like doing great, he beat Cooler first, but something changed there because Cooler took him 2-0 and then Sturmy 2-1, and that's how he made it. So it's interesting to think like who would be going into this grand finals with more confidence. Was it Cooler who just he won 4 very tough games in a row where he could not lose? So that means he was playing amazing. Or was it Cypher, like who he never was in big trouble, and arguably he wasn't challenged as seriously as Cooler was in the lower. So like, yeah, I would if I was Cypher, even though I hadn't lost that match, I would be fucking scared going up as Cooler at this point. And important to notice, and also very strange at this tournament, that um, there was no advantage for the winner for the winner of the upper bracket. Like usually you get there's 2 best of 3s, and the upper guy he gets an advantage of 1 best of 3, or they stick to 1 best of 5, where the upper guy he gets 1 free map win. But here they just started 0-0. So I thought that's maybe a bit unfair. At least it's very unusual, but when you consider that they actually did not play each other before in the knockout stage, then maybe you could say it's actually not that unfair. Maybe it's actually quite fair. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this. So anyway, that's their route, how they came into the grand finals, and by now they're both going to be in amazing shape. That's for sure. And also, I think that was evident from the game itself, um, because I think that their movement and everything, their aim and their crosshair placement, you could just tell it was in top tier shape. Now, already, like I said, I'm not gonna go over all 5 of the games because that's gonna be 50 minutes. Uh, yeah, and I just wanted to give maybe a little bit of analysis, not too much. Let's just have a look at the games, and I want to point out some things that I think are like absolutely amazing, and that still amaze me to this day after 14 years. Um, yeah, so let's jump into it. We're gonna look at map 4 and 5. Let's just quickly have a recap of map 1. Let me turn up the music. So map 1, Lost World, probably Cooler's pick. Yeah, Cooler basically dominated. I think that says 2-0 at this point, but it was a good game. It wasn't like Cooler steamrolled him or anything, but Cooler was dominant. And one funny thing here was actually cannot hear any audio from the playing hall, and there's no commentary in this particular VOD because this is an upload by Decibel01 US, amazing channel. Like, check him out. He's been uploading games for like 20 years in the highest possible quality, and his uploads are just fucking amazing. Like, this guy is great. I love him. I watched so many of his games that he uploaded. So thank you so much, and he's still going strong. So we're gonna be looking from his video. But quickly switch over here to
anyway, we are going to get this one underway, so let's make a little bit of noise. It's
8 minutes. So this is just the first map, but a different upload with the official commentary. But you could hear Cooler in the background. You could hear him screaming here. 5-0 in that first map he is up. But Cooler is about to do what Cooler was famous for. His famous rocket jumps.
Mega health area, but he's made the jump for it, and well,
that's one failed rocket jump right there.
That's the only way he's going to get in if he takes
and another one.
Wow, there's another failed rocket jump there from Cooler. Cypher will come above him.
And there we hear Cooler screaming.
Cooler doesn't like let's listen again. Take some risk, and wow, there's another failed rocket jump there from Cooler. Cypher will come above him.
There we go. So, I mean, Cooler, for some reason, it just stick already since the Quake 4 days, and maybe even before that he would fuck up his rocket jumps so often. I don't know why that always stuck to him, but it did. But regardless of that, he took map 1 pretty confidently. Let's see, what was the final score there? It was like, we're at 7-0 now. Something like that. 8-0. Yeah, so map 2 was shorter than that because Cooler did not practice the map, like I said. So oh, and they even had the red armor at the old position, so like they put it here later. So yeah, it was brand new. Cooler decided not to practice it. Is it gonna backfire in this match, in this finals, in the end? Well, we're gonna see that, because Cypher just completely took him on this map. No contest. So Cooler forfeited after like 3 minutes. Map 3 was here it started getting intense. We're not gonna get into it, but it was a close one, and Cooler took it. So Cooler on match point now. 2-1. He's up 2-1 in maps. So he just needs 3 maps to win the whole thing, and that would be his first Quakecon win ever. Cypher already won one Quakecon before. Yeah, so Cooler on match point. Now we're gonna go into map 4, and let's just watch this completely because yeah, this is great. This is great stuff from now on. All right, will the pressure get to Cooler? One more map he needs.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, well, this is the weakest spawn. Cooler's getting the weakest spawn on the map. So yeah, one thing I don't like about Quake Live is that they never fucking balance out the starting spawns. Like, if Quake Live would be a competitive game today, like, no way people would not complain very hard about this. But the scene was different back then. Like, people just didn't care or something. So yeah, makes the best of it, but not much you can do. Cypher getting that rail, and you know, he can fall back to the red armor. There's no hurry just yet. He's trying to get a kill just now. Alright, he gets the lead. So yeah, Cypher in great shape here. Cypher just doing his thing. I mean, that's how airwalk goes. Very hard to slow it down. And instead of playing completely defensive, Cooler's trying to defend a bit actively, trying to take some positions where if Cypher wants to push through for the kill, at least he's gonna take a lot of damage. And that's actually how both of these players tend to play out of control. Some people, they prefer to disappear completely and just live off of one spot on the map and keep getting one yellow armor. And other people, they choose to fight a little bit more. Wow, that was just the sickest algae fucking I've ever seen. How do you hit that with Axel from up close? That was insane. So yeah, he's like, this is definitely going exceptionally well for Cypher. 5 frags in 2 minutes, and there's no stopping him just yet. So yeah, again, not really interested right now in doing any deep analysis, but hopefully I can point out some key moments along the way. It seems that Cooler, he might actually be in control right now. Like, he's got the rail, he's got a better stack than Cypher, he's got the mega, so it's with 3 minutes played, 6 frag deficit, it's doable, you know, it's not lost yet at all, anything can happen. Cypher did just kind of equalize a little bit there with hitting 2 rails. And he's winning this red and he got the full rocket, so yeah, Cypher is he's taking back control here, so that's painful for Cooler. It's very painful, because now who knows, it might be another 6 frags for Cypher. But if it was, I would not be showing you this game. Oh, amazing rail from Cypher. And another one. Oh! Look at that. Like, this is also typical Cypher. This next rail he's about to hit, he had no right. If anyone's hitting this rail, it's Cooler. Like, he's got his crosshair on the only place Cypher can, you know, can appear basically. And imagine how tough this is gonna be for Cypher to hit this shot. While he's bunny hopping to that weaker side of the map, he has to turn around, he has to fucking find the exact spot where Cooler is. Like, oh my god. Look at that, he's just there for like 1 fucking frame in the video and then... Ah, that's just insane. That's typical Cypher and grand final stuff. obviously Cooler is taking his time. He's more than happy to take this comeback slowly because he knows more than 4 minutes, 5 frags, it's totally doable. He's in no rush on this map. You know, he just doesn't want to get any kill and be left on low HP after that. So he's trying to be solid and make sure that he gets the kills with some good amount of stack left. Maybe he's a bit nervous also, knowing this is the map that can bring him the title. And it's actually not he's still in a decent spot to actually win the map. It's a bit soon to say, but anything can happen. So, you know, I can imagine his nerves, because he was kind of whiffing some fairly easy rails earlier. And Cypher's hitting out of his mind, so that's definitely making the difference this game. Anyway, Cooler doing what he should, just maintaining his stack, and then those good opportunities will come by themselves. Oh, Cypher making a mistake there, that's a freebie. Cooler playing this perfectly. And this is very typical of Cooler style, the dodging. Look at how he dodges these grenades here. Especially those last two. He has so little time to anticipate exactly how these nades are being shot, where they are landing, and how he's gonna dodge past them. It's actually so fucking unique how he does that. That's insane. I love seeing that. Again. And you cannot avoid some splash damage now and then, but he just never gets hit by a direct grenade. And his dodging was great against any weapon. The Cypher must be sweating now. I mean, there's no sign of Cooler slowing down. And there, like, what the fuck? That pre-fire shaft, like, I never do that, but it works out perfectly. Like, I don't know what Cypher was doing there. He wasn't jumping for the red, was he? Maybe he was, but he just landed on the stairs and he gets completely destroyed here. Cooler with amazing stack left after that frag. The Cypher must be fucking sweating right now. Now how's Cooler gonna play this? You're definitely in no rush whatsoever, but you also don't want to let him consolidate too much, because this is the moment where Cypher excels, you know? It's all or nothing. That's the toughest Cypher you're gonna face all tournament, and this is very typical of Cypher style. Even though he's on the back foot in the most tense situations, he's still looking for damage output. Here, instead of just falling back to the yellow armor, just by backing off past the rocket launcher and then dropping down, he drops down aggressively to the center map to take a TP, because that way he can do a little bit of rocket damage, a little situation where it's unlikely he's going to take damage, but he has a chance to do some big damage. So here he hits it direct, and here is like a splash, but it's still good damage. This is a very key moment. Cooler's still in control. He's gonna get mega then red, but he's not as, you know, Cypher still did some damage, although Cooler's still pretty much full stack right now. But still, I like what he did there, and it's very typical of Cypher style. Also, I should mention that from this grand finals, famously, the official demos got lost. So there's only spectator demos, so it's not like the guy who made the last kill is being the point of view. Like sometimes it will switch randomly. Like the guy who spectated on his computer, he sometimes switched the POV, and that's the way the demos got recorded. So that's what we're seeing now. That's a bit unusual sometimes. But right now we're looking at Cooler.
1 minute warning.
1 minute complete control for Cooler. Now what can you do? What's Cypher gonna do? He's still defending actively. And that's so scary. That's so scary. That's a bit risky, you know? Maybe he felt he had everything under control. Maybe he had. Maybe he did. But it's, you know, you need some balls to play like that. Especially in a situation like this. And here, this is fucking... I think this is maybe the first moment where Cooler could have decided it. We have 25 seconds left to play. I skipped a little bit back. Did I mute? I muted it. Because here, we hear Cypher screaming. And look at this stack by Cooler. Look at this stack. So Cooler can... He is thinking about forcing it. If he forces now, there's no way Cypher has enough time to make another kill. So here, you know, what Cooler does makes a lot of sense. He thinks, of course, Cypher is going to take the TP as soon as he can. Because what Cypher's doing here doesn't make any sense. I don't know why he chooses to do this. Instead of going through the TP directly to safety, he just backs off a little bit first to shoot a spam rocket. Because if Cooler pulled out the rocket instead of the rail here, Cypher would be dead. But of course Cooler thought that Cypher would go immediately. So the only chance he could kill him was if he pulled out the rail and immediately fired a shot. Which, you know, he was of course aiming in the wrong place because Cypher was not going through the TP. So that's where it could have happened. But maybe also he could have just said fuck it and pushed through the TP. I don't know, man. This might have been a moment where Cooler could have taken it on map 4. He could have taken the title. Anyway. Cypher's still weak, so like Cooler still be probably thinking he's gonna take it, maybe even before OT. But Cypher doing amazing damage. One last little opportunity, like Cooler's feeling out if he can get the kill before overtime. Not risking it too hard. Probably right now he's saying to himself, no, it's not gonna happen right now. So we're going into overtime. He's probably okay with that. You know, he's still in good control. Dodging those rockets, Cooler style. Oh. Everything's under control. Red, enough time for Mega. No problems. Yeah, can afford to take that rail. But he's getting nervous. The rockets are not as good as they normally are. Not by a long shot. Cypher. Alright, Cypher now. Oh my god. Cooler's regretting not pushing in for the kill earlier now. Because Cypher might be in control right now. I don't know. What's gonna happen here? Alright. Cooler in no grave danger, of course, but Cypher has at least equalized, so maybe he's even in control now. So Cypher, he played with nothing for a long time. But somehow he survived. That's typical, that's just Cypher things. Oh, and that's just Cooler things. Failing that rocket jump. He surely is nervous. Because again, he's, you know, his stack is amazing. But now Cypher's not that weak anymore. But how to actually get the kill now? And here, huge opportunity for Cooler. You can see that Cypher was not expecting him going up the stairs, just ignoring those nades. Well, ignoring, he's of course doing the Cooler dodging. But Cypher thought he had this covered, you know, this push. But you can see here, oh my god, I'm sure his heart sank right here. Because, like, he's in the worst possible position with his back against the wall with no escape route. And Cooler, he has his rocket out and he's ready to shoot. And Cypher still has to switch weapons. So what the fuck he has to escape through the gap here. But it should be over. It should be a kill for Cooler actually, but he panics or something, I don't know. Cypher's still in the worst position, but now Cooler's reloading after whiffing that rocket. And Cypher here, he has a chance to escape, and he even hits some rockets himself. One rocket. And a shitload of more damage. Oh, and the guy, okay, now we're watching Cypher. Oh my god. And also that was right before the second overtime, so Cooler really could have won Quakecon right there if he managed to keep calm. Oh fuck. Wow. Nice, Cypher in control. It's really the amazing shots. And Cypher, his execution remains impeccable, even in the most tense situations. You know, where Cooler gets nervous, Cypher excels. I would say that's the biggest difference between them. So, 3 frags up. 50 seconds to go. It's not impossible, but Cooler knows that it slipped away from him in this game. And he has to do it in map 5 now. And now we have both players on match point. Oh my god. This is for me the most memorable game of Aerowalk ever played. Because Cypher just... He played with nothing. He played like 200-200 against starting stack. And somehow he managed to avoid Cooler and work his way back into control. It's just absolutely unbelievable.
Impressive.
Yeah. GG ... He knows it. And what happened here, like that should be illegal. Alright, final map. Blood Run. Both of these players are going to be extremely comfortable and experienced on this map. No excuses, like this is a Cooler map, this is a Cypher map. Same for Aerowalk, like both these guys are top level here. Alright, so this map is maybe even more astonishing than the last one. It has some even more insane things. So, I don't know, it still blows my mind, to be honest. Just like the Aerowalk game. 14 years later, it still blows my mind, honestly.
Fight.
Like right here, right off the bat, we have an insane, crazy, weird, unexplainable moment. Because Cypher, we're starting off on Cypher's point of view, and he's doing... he makes a mistake, a huge mistake in the first second of the game. In the first millisecond of the game, almost. So he's jumping to the rocket, and there's a chance that Cooler spawns in that corner there. So why did he do that? Did he just gamble? Because this is a guaranteed frag for Cooler almost. Unless Cypher can escape smoothly through the TP. But then he's gonna be still super rough shape against Cooler, who gets everything. Well, it didn't used to be possible, this combination of starting spawns. But if I remember correctly, it was already months before this tournament that they made it like this, that this could happen. And I'm sure both players knew that very well. But I think Cypher, he got a little too excited after winning that 4th map, and some old muscle memory kicked in, and as soon as he saw that he spawned on that spot here, he probably since the Quake 3 days, he jumped immediately to the rocket. So his old muscle memory kicked in, or muscle memory, or whatever the fuck you call it. Like his old instincts kicked in. What you should do nowadays, after that they changed that. You should go to the left. You should go to the shotgun and to the red, because you cannot risk it that the guy is spawning in the corner. And by now he knew he fucked up. And okay, even a direct rocket, and before he goes through the TP. So this is absolutely fucked for Cypher. Worst thing that could happen to him in the final map of the Quakecon finals. So this, I don't want to know what Cypher felt at that moment. He must have felt fucking terrible, because Blood Run is the kind of map where one frag is enough, you know? If you get one frag up and you remain in control, and Cooler is going to remain in amazing control, then it could be done already. It could be done, especially against Cooler, you know? So Cypher got to show some magic. Horrible mistake. And he even doesn't get a good spawn to get the Mega. So actually I find it kind of interesting with Cooler. He doesn't rocket jump. Cooler, because I think if he would rocket jump he had time to, I mean, okay, both ways he has time to take both, I suppose, both items. Yeah, so okay, that's totally fine. Cooler in amazing shape here. And this is not like Arrow Walk where you can afford to give up frags, a couple of frags to, you know, to try to take some risks to get back into control by giving a couple frags. No, because that every frag is so significant here. Like if it's 4 or 5-0 up, even if there's more than 5 minutes to go, it's like almost impossible to make a comeback. So yeah, we're gonna see a lot lower scoring game here than Arrow Walk. Cooler super solid. Mega is more important than red, as almost always. Cooler just taking some yellows as well. And you know, that's what you do. Cypher, you basically gotta trap him, because Cypher's not gonna go do some stuff that's not safe. He's gonna be very careful. So Cooler mostly playing for traps. And Cypher, you know, he's still trying to be a little bit active. He doesn't mind losing a little bit of that stack for maybe some opportunities. But he's not gonna take any big risks. He's gotta hope he can get a couple yellows, string a couple yellows together, and then challenge for a major item. Red's up. Cypher playing for the yellows. Yeah, he's got a decent stack, he just needs Mega. But he decides he wants to try to out-aim Cooler already. Win some fights. Not for a kill, but you know, just try to output some more damage than he receives. But he misses the rails. But at least he's winning a lot of time here. And he's holding that Mega position. So actually, after this, amazingly... Oh, I would almost say he's gonna win that Mega. It looked like he was gonna win that Mega. But he didn't actually. Cooler still pushed for it. Oh my god, let's skip back a bit here. Because wow, the way Cooler comes in here, that still amazes me as well. Like, look, he was up there, so he goes to the shards, to the rocket, and you would expect him to be dropping like in the corner there and then appear somewhere here. I don't know if it's recording my crosshair, but like I would think he would be more like lower right side. He would appear, but the way he just drops like out of nowhere, and Cypher somehow he knew the exact spot. He was so prepared for that, even though I'm not hearing shit like how Cooler's gonna approach the fight. I just find that amazing, just remarkable. But his LG is spot on, but Cooler's first rocket is good, pushing him out of the Mega. And still, like, look, he's not going to that Mega, he's still dodging back and forth. Oy, oy, oy. So Cypher, it looked like he was gonna shift the controls right there, but he didn't. And Cooler, oh my god, he survived that with such low HP. So yeah, I think this is like, I don't know who's in control right now, but Cypher, it looks like he's gonna be playing for this Mega. Although, if Cooler pushes in right now, okay. Oh, we get a similar thing. Oh, and it's 2-0 for, look at that. Look at how much HP Cooler has left after that fight. That was down to the wire. Did Cooler really have to risk that? I mean, both players assessed it as being good for them, but it was so clutch. And Cypher hit it amazing, as we saw, but barely wasn't enough. So yeah, but this was all the work for nothing. Cypher must be feeling gutted right now, like 3.5 minutes, and he's got nothing to show for it. 2-0 down. Even though Cooler is not 200, he's got all the weapons. Cypher's got to collect everything again. Cooler's sitting so comfortably here. Cypher's POV right now. Back on Cooler. Oh, did Cypher hit that shot so quick? Fuck, man. Oh, this move by Cypher, very nice. Alright, so Cypher succeeded pretty well, I would say, in getting a share of control here, but I don't get what Cooler's doing here. What? Cooler has enough stack to go and defend this Mega. If he moves towards the Mega right now, he can just use his shaft to prevent Cypher from dropping onto it, but for some reason, like after he's going here, but Cypher immediately says, okay, then I take this position, then I take this Mega. So that's strange, actually. Why did Cooler do that? I don't know. Maybe mistimed, because there wasn't much risk in that play that I suggested. Very strange. Cooler with a little double back, but not gonna do too much. It's just gonna make him take more damage. Oh, Cypher dropping onto it at the perfect time. Really tempting Cooler to go for that. But it's a very close fight here. Oh, Cypher taking it with 58 HP left. And here it is a very interesting moment. Look at Cooler with that gauntlet right off the spawn. A mutual frag we have here. And Cypher maybe didn't expect it, because this is very rare to get that opportunity. Because look, he gets a kill here, but Cooler's spawn is like being decided at the moment he presses the button to respawn, which should be right about now when Cypher's getting, and I think it's because Cypher's in this position, he's taking the charge on the left side. I think that allows Cooler to spawn in the plasma room. If Cypher would not take these shards, or he would take the ones on the right, I'm not sure if they're up, then probably Cooler would spawn at like the where he spawned at the start of the game, like at the rocket, and Cypher would be able to get the red easily. But now Cooler, what he's doing is actually great, because basically he's saying like, okay, instead of you being in control for sure, now I get to gamble who's gonna be in control. The score's still gonna be 2-1, but now Cooler has a chance of getting a better spawn. Does he actually get a better spawn? I don't know. So Cypher here, he spawned at the rail, and he got the red, so it looks like Cypher got a better spawn anyway. It's not terrible for Cooler. Cooler's got the shaft and yellow, and he even gets his rocket here that he dropped on that. Cypher dropped it. So and Cypher doesn't know Cooler has this rocket, so he's camping this rocket here. Yeah, very interesting. I really like that play by Cooler with the gauntlet. He probably knew that it was gonna be a mutual. He probably like calculated it based on the stacks. So yeah, Cooler in pretty good shape. Cypher's in control, but you know, Cooler just needs 1 mega, and he doesn't need to risk anything. Like Cooler's up just 3 minutes ago. Cooler's up 1 frag. Shouldn't take any risks. Oh my god. Look at this crosshair placement, man. Look here. Takes up the rail. Puts his crosshair as he jumps. Right. So that when, you know, he finishes his jump, it's in the exact center here. All he has to do is like a little flick. That's just insane. That's perfect. So yeah, Cypher 2 minutes to go. He has to make at least 1 frag to bring this into overtime. But on a map like this, to force a frag, it's so difficult. And, you know, what is he gonna do? Is he gonna trap? Is he gonna... I don't know. Back in Cypher POV. Ooh. Ooh. He knows something's gonna happen in the next 1.5 minutes, or he's lost the grand finals. And here's another moment that fucking blew my mind. I remember it blew my mind when I watched this at the time. I didn't get to watch it live because I was on vacation, but I watched it as soon as I got back. And, you know, like LG is the mid-range weapon, right? And Rocket is the close-range weapon, but here Cypher says fuck that shit, and he's using the LG super close. Because actually sometimes, like with corridors, when you're in a super close fight, shaft becomes preferable. Just look here what happens. He basically hugs Cooler with the shaft, pushing him into the corner, and Cooler's forced to take self-damage from the rockets he's shooting onto Cypher, and it's propelling Cooler further into like a corner where it becomes even easier for Cypher to hit the shaft. So this is just insane weapon choice and positioning and combat skills from Cypher. Perfect. And now like 100 sec left, but he got all the weapons. The red's coming up. Great. So Cypher's looking in great shape to take this game. But on the other hand, like you cannot force a frag. Cooler still has to make a mistake of some sorts. So let's see what happens. Alright, Cooler had the shaft spawn because the shaft just reappeared. Yeah, Cooler's sweating right now. Alright. This is the most insane moment of the whole match, in my opinion. Like, what the fuck? The mega is up, but both of them are not taking it. Look at this. Okay, so Cypher thinking this is mine right now. Oh, and Cooler, it looked like from his, you know, what his model looks like he was kind of sneaking. If he was maybe like a one step closer to the mega, he could have taken it for sure. He would have won the race, so to say. But it made him doubt his position and Cypher's position and Cypher's speed. It made him doubt like who's gonna be first. And this is such a clutch moment. Like, it all comes down here. This is so committal. The one who wins clearly this situation is probably getting the kill. If both players choose to commit, it's going down. It's gonna be all or nothing. So both players are kind of scared to commit fully here, and to evaluate properly like who is gonna win this situation. It's very hard to say here. Like Plasma against Shaft, and with the different stacks and speeds coming into this and who's getting this mega, very hard to evaluate the fight. And so they're just kind of feeling it out right now. Cooler not dodging onto that mega. Again, dodging away from it. And now, Cypher, he doesn't know what Cooler's gonna do. Is he gonna play for that mega? Still? Is he right around that corner? Cypher's not willing to risk that. He says, fuck this shit, I'm gonna get red. And I think he expects Cooler to be going for that. But Cooler, like the same, like he doesn't know, is Cypher still right around there? About to make the play for Mega? Or not? And he also thinks the same, like fuck it, I'm not risking it, there's too much on the line, I'll just get red and then we'll see what happens. So they both think that, and I'm sure they did not expect of each other that they're both going to be thinking that. Because here we see Cypher is going for this rocket jump, while Cooler is already up there with his shaft, so like, and Cooler somehow he had the read, he heard it a bit sooner. Cooler knew what was going on, like Cooler's up there, he knew a bit sooner what was going on than Cypher. Because Cypher must be shitting himself right now, like this, he's in the air right now, he's on his way to red, he already made the rocket jump. But he might be being pushed into the corner there, and then it's all over. But Cypher's rocket jump was very clean. He had the right amount of speed. Plus Cooler's shaft was not good enough to push him off. Cypher makes it onto the red. Still, it's scary, but I think Cypher right now is a bit favorable in this fight. With the rockets out. Switches to shaft. Alright, for sure he's living. It's probably he can always back away to the left here, like behind the wall. To the 50 bubble if things go south, but he can feel it out a little bit. Alright, he takes one rail. He probably knew, of course he knew that he could take one rail there, but he knows now that Cooler was shooting before him, so Cypher has his rail up first, so he has a chance to I don't know if he knew Cooler was railable or not, but he knows he can get a free shot in, and Cooler was railable. 9 HP, is Cooler gonna spawn shaft? And if he does, okay, 4 HP after dropping down there, after taking the fall damage. So Cooler, he just needs a bit of MG tickle, machine gun, and then it's done. So if Cooler spawned there, then, or maybe even on the other side, on the rocket side, just a little bit of machine gun tickle, and Cypher would be gone. But maybe Cypher would be fast enough. It's so hard. It's so close. It's so close. But Cypher, you know, he went for it, and Cooler didn't spawn there. So we'll never know what happened if he did. But with the spawn Cooler got, then he's got to show some magic. And I'm afraid it's just not happening. Like, especially after Cypher got to this position and got the yellow. This is the ultimate camp position at the teleporter. I'm afraid Cooler is just... There's just nothing to squeeze out of this. So all Cypher has to do is hold here for 5 seconds, and he does so perfectly. And he wins his second Quakecon title, and Cooler is still without victory. And he was playing so amazing this tournament. and you see here like the difference is huge, and it was so cruel back in the days. Like the fourth place and lower got absolutely nothing, and then the first to third got all the money. Sturmy had a great tournament, by the way. Also Sparty also, but no money for him. Um, but yeah, big difference in money between the first and second. But I know how these guys are. I know how it is in Quake. When you get to the finals, you don't give a fuck about the money anymore. The title is worth everything. The money is nothing at that point. It's all about the title, the honor. So Cooler, he was looking insane this tournament. That lower bracket run he made, but that's how it always is with Cooler. He looks amazing until that one matchup, and he just isn't anymore. Like there's suddenly a spark of weakness in his game. I remember in Quake Champions. I think it was both in Quake Champions. One time he had this Quakecon where there were 2 days. One day was like a round robin system. Everyone played each other, and he won almost everything. Maybe he won every game, also against Kilson. So he got first in the round robin, and Kilson got second, which meant they played the grand finals against each other. And even though he beat Kilson on the first day, then in the grand finals he lost to him. So no Quakecon title for him again. And then another matchup. It was the first year they had Quake Champions. Cooler looked insane all tournament long until just he runs into Claus, this kid, and then suddenly you see some weakness. So that's typical Cooler for you. Like it's hard to be a Cooler fan cheering for him. It's really hard. It's really painful. But he did have some amazing games, and when he does win a tournament, it's not often after 2006. But when he does, it's just worth it. It's amazing. Yeah, so I'm sure there's a lot more to say about this finals, but yeah, I just wanted to go back in time, take you with me. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't know if I'm gonna do this kind of thing again, but obviously if there's another classic game that I would cover, or if you wanted to check out, then that would be the Rafa against Evil. I think the second Quakecon finals that they played. I think that was the best one. I don't remember the year. I think it was 2014, maybe 15. I think first mob was Sinister. Anyway, that was like tied with this one, with the best Quake finals during Quake Live. But that was already after the golden years, so I think this one really takes the cake. I think this is the most amazing match, also because there's so many moments in those last two maps that were just like mind blowing. Like I still don't know what the fuck is going on after 14 years, and I watched this finals like 5 times at least. So yeah, I really enjoyed to watch this tonight, and I hope you did too. And yeah, thank you.